Hello, hello. I'm going to be showing you how to cast off and weave in your yarn ends when knitting. This will be for beginners. So you have your project and it's on your needles, and I'm going to show you how to get it off of your needles by casting off, and it's really simple. And I'm going to take you through this. This is a scarf that I've made. It turned out really beautiful. The colors, as you can see, the way they changed is so beautiful. And it's really long, and I've got all the way to the end. I've got to the desired length that I want for my scarf. So now I want to get it off my needles and cast off. So the first way to do this is to get your stitches all the way to the end of your needle. And you're going to simply just knit two. Okay, so you're going to take your yarn and you're just going to knit two. One, two. Okay, so then you have two stitches on your needle. And now what you're going to do is you're simply going to pull the first stitch over the second stitch. Okay, so you're going to take your needle in your left hand and you're going to go into this stitch. Pull it to the end here where you can see it better. You're going to go into this stitch, the last stitch, and just pull it over. So you're going to be pulling that through. The first one's going to be a little tricky. Okay, and then there it's banged off. Okay, so to cast off, you're always going to want two stitches on your needle. Okay, so you're going to knit, you're going to knit again, knit one more, so that you have two stitches on your needle. And then you're just going to simply go in and pull that first one off of your needle, pulling your right hand needle up through that middle. Okay, let's do that again. So you're just going to knit one and then go in to that second stitch. It's a little snug, so I'm going to try to do this slow where you can see this. Okay, and then you're just going to pull back on the right hand needle and just kind of dip it down up underneath of there to where you're pulling it through that stitch. Okay, that slid off, so let's try that again. Okay, get that back on the needles. And if that happens, it's super easy just to get it back on your needles. And this may happen when you're trying to learn how to do it. So, okay, so you got two on your needles, and you're just going to simply go into that second one and pull that other one through. Okay, and then you drop that off. Okay, I'm going to do another one. You're just going to knit one so that you have two stitches on your needle. Okay, and then you're going to want to go into the second one and just pull it over top of the first one. Okay, so you're just going into up underneath, and then you're going to tuck that second one down through there. And it slid off again. Okay, let's get that back on the needles. Okay, that is the second stitch. Okay. So you're just going to go into the second stitch and pull it over. Pull it up through that hole. Okay. Alright, pause this for a second. Okay, now you can see it's got a little binding edge to it. Okay, So we're going to do another one. So you just simply knit. Okay, so you have 2 stitches on your needle, and then you're just going to simply bring this first loop over your needle over top of this second one. Okay, so you're just going to go in to that stitch. Okay, and then you're going to pull this needle, your right hand needle, down through to where it's catching that stitch, and then you just pull it off. Okay, so let's knit another one, knit one more. So you got 2 on your needle, and then you go into the second one towards the end here. It's harder to go slow, but I'm trying to go slow so I can show you. But you can also go back and just re-watch this over and over until it makes sense for you. Okay. Alrighty, and as you can see, I'm slowly getting that edge where this part is not on the needles. And I'm working my way. We're going to knit 1 to where we got 2 on our needles. Okay. And then we're going to go through that first loop. And this will be a lot easier on bulkier yarn. And you just want to do this loosely. You don't want to do this tight. Just do it nice and loose. And I'm kind of doing a little tight, but it's not too bad. Okay, we're going to knit again to where we got 2 stitches on the needle. Okay, and we're just going to go through and bring this loop over top of this one so you can visualize what's going on. You just stick your needle through the stitch on the right and pull that second one through. Okay, let's do it again. We're almost to the middle. Okay, and then we're going to go in to that second one, twist and pull it. There we go. We're going to knit again. And then go into that second one, pull it through. And you want to be really careful with this process because you are at the end of your project. You put a lot of time and energy into creating this beautiful project, so you don't want to mess this part up. So I would highly recommend practicing this on a little swatch of 10 stitches, 4 or 5 stitches high. That way you can practice the casting off before you're actually doing it on your project. So we're just going to simply knit again. So we got 2 stitches on our needle, and then we're going to go through this stitch and pull it up through that second one. Okay, knit again. So we got 2 stitches on our needle, go through, pull it through. Okay. Then we're going to knit again. So we got 2 stitches on our needle, go through that one, pull it through. Okay, I'm going to cast, knit again, and then pull this through, go through the second one, pull it over top of that first one, knit again, go through that second one and pull it over. Knit again, so you got 2 on there. Knit again. two on there. Pull it through. It again. Okay, then we got two on there. And this last one may be a little trickier. That you got the very end, and you have two stitches on your needle. So you can just simply go in and pull that over top of that stitch. Now you're down to one stitch on the needle. Okay, I'm going to take my needle out. And now it is free from the needles. You can see the binding edge. This is very soft yarn, so it's fuzzy. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to weave in our loose ends. So in order to totally bind off, we're going to take and cut the yarn. Give it a good little distance away from your project. Cut the yarn. And then you're simply going to just take that tail up through there and pull it snug to where you get it tied off. And now we're going to weave in this loose end. And this is really long. So I'm going to cut it just a little shorter. You just want it a couple inches in length. Get this yarn out of the way. So you're going to take your tapestry needle. Just make sure it's a big enough one that you can thread your yarn up through the eye. Okay, and then we're going to thread our yarn. Through there. Okay, now the trick is for these is to we're just going to simply weave in this end into our stitches, and you're going to go on this binding edge, like this binding chain. You're just going to go in, like I'm going down, and then go up, pull it through, go down. Oops, I slipped out. Go down, pull it through, and then go back up, pull it through, go down. Now you're going to want to go just a little ways in one direction, and then you're going to turn and go back. So make sure you've got enough tail where you can do that. And if you're getting close to the end and you kind of see, okay, I'm running out of yarn, then you'll know when to turn and go back. And if you go one direction and just weave it in, and then you go back, it helps secure that tail even better. Okay, so I'm going back now, just through my stitches. I got a really small tail, so leaving your tail a little longer than what I did would be recommended, because you can always cut off that loose end. Okay, so now I've went down a little ways, and then I've come back, and now we're at the end. So I'm just going to cut off this excess here. And what I like to do is I like to kind of cinch it up a little bit, and then I cut my yarn. And then when you pull it out, it just goes in. So that end is all weaved in. Your end of your yarn is weaved in and you can't see it. Okay? And that is how you cast off of knitting and weave in your loose ends. If you enjoyed this video, just like and subscribe so you can see my upcoming videos. I'm going to continue to do some more on the basics of knitting. And you can also visit my website, dawnsyarnhaven.com, and I'll put the link in the description of this video so you can easily access it. And that's where I'll have this yarn. I have this yarn and other yarn for sale, and this yarn is super soft and super wonderful to work with. It's so gorgeous, the colors, and I've got different colors to choose from if you want different colors other than these. So I hope this helped you today, and enjoy your knitting. Be blessed.